So we did a thing. I don't actually fancy myself to be a Jeep guy per se, but the Bronco is gone. We sold Kayla's little toy project, and she wanted something else to take beaching and off-roading because we do that all the time. But we'd like to. We'd like to do that. So we picked up this Jeep. We hunted around for a while. I was actually looking at Broncos and Jeeps, specifically Wranglers or 80s and 90s Broncos, and looked at a couple duds, and then we found this thing. It's a 2002 4-liter straight 6, 5-speed manual. AC works. It's got a slight lift. It looks like it's got an 1.5-inch body lift. I don't know that it actually has suspension lift at all. I think it's just 1.5-inch body lift. It's got upgraded sway bars, upgraded axles. The rear axle is brand new. It was just redone 500 miles ago. It's got a Stinger bumper on it. It's got a vented hood on it. He's done a little bit of tasteful upgrades, and it's on 35 by 1250s. So it's not the fastest thing in the world with that little 4-liter pulling it around. But it's pretty cool. It's our new little toy. We're going to be doing a lot of tinkering with it. I did just wash her down off camera. It was pretty filthy. It cleaned up great. It looked okay before, but it came out excellent. It had a bunch of scuff marks all over it from wheeling it and driving it around. And it sat in this guy's garage, which I'll tell you about later. So I think he had stuff piled on it. So it had a bunch of little marks and things on it. Washed it really good. Quadruple aught steel wooled the wheels. Those came out really good. And we took a magic eraser to some of these really bad scuffs, and it cleaned up beautifully. That is going to pull the clear coat off, or at least the wax off in some spots, not so much the clear coat. So it's going to have some dullness in those areas now, so we're going to have to go through and wax this whole thing, buff it. But it came out nice. I'll walk you around. So it's a 2002, which I guess makes it a TJ, I suppose. I don't know. I'm learning this Jeep stuff. It's got the what they call the Stinger bumper on it, which is not super practical, but it looks cool. It's got hella fog lamps on it. Those are wired to a switch in the dash and work well. It's got headlight bezels that were red, I think, at some point someone painted them red. We're going to have to take those out. We'll clean them up, repaint them black again real nice. It's got the vented hood, which is pretty cool. Poison spider hood, I guess they call it. 35 by 1250 BFG all-terrains. Best tire in the world. Brand new. You can see the nipples are still on them at the top of the tread. But the outsides are already starting to show some very, very small cracks. They've been on there for years. I don't know what the date code is on these. I'm guessing it's probably right here, maybe 2015. This guy barely drove this thing. So tires are old, but brand new tread. He blew one. He put too much air in it by mistake. So has one brand new, but the spare is the same as the others. So I think I'm actually going to stick the spare here and then take this wheel, which is the one different tread, the new style tread BFG, and put it on the back. Funny thing is it's on the rim that was the spare already. You can tell because it's the only one that's shiny. Real shiny anyway. It's got black doors from a different Jeep because they wanted the full doors on it, so he snagged those from another vehicle. But all in all, really nice shape. The thing actually many moons ago was in a rollover, and the only thing you can see from it, there's a small dent here, small dent in the fender here. Everything else he'd replaced, but somebody in a little car got underneath it and actually flipped it right onto its side. But everything's been fixed. There's no visible damage other than those two spots. And when he did everything and fixed it up, that's when he put a bunch of new parts on it. And that was only in 2019. So it's got a lot of newness to it. Black and tan interior. He's got some nice weatherproof seat covers on it. But the seats underneath actually look good from what I can tell. We may even pull these off at some point and take a look. 5-speed, obviously 4-wheel drive. does have a radio in it, and it's got the overhead speakers, which is cool. So even when you're cruising, you can still hear. It's only 100,000 miles on this thing, 100,556. You can tell he didn't drive it much because it had 105,513 when we bought it. This says to change the oil at 105,500. I'm assuming it was set for 5,000 miles, which means he drove it 13 miles since he had the oil changed. But it says it's due in like 3 days. So in 3 months, he drove it 13 miles. So it sat in his garage a lot. Rear seat covers, same thing, nice shape. I just washed it, so it's a little wet in here. I accidentally sprayed in. I need to dry that up. But it's got the rubber floor mats, and actually in the very back, he rhino lined it, which is cool. So we got the rhino lining there. Oh, I missed a spot washing. I didn't open this. I should probably do that while I'm here. Seat belts front and rear. It's got the bimini top, which is cool, but it needs to be tightened. It's a little floppage. We need to adjust it and tighten it up. But very, very clean inside and out. It's a pretty Jeep. We'll get under the hood and tinker with it here at some point soon too. But it's actually really clean under there. All original, it looks like, with just some small, needed upgrades. But cool little runner, and we're gonna do quite a bit of little tinkering on it, some minor modifications, get it nice and customized for us, I guess we'll say. So it'll be a fun one to do some video series on. Let me know what you guys think. I'm new to this whole Jeep thing. Apparently I'm supposed to buy like rubber ducks now or something. I don't know. Looks cool though. Yeah, I'm a fan. I dig it. It's different than what I would normally go for. I've only ever owned, well, that's not true. I've owned 2 other Jeeps. One was a 2011 Grand Cherokee, but the main reason I bought it was because it had the what was it, the 5.7 liter Hemi motor in it, so it was very fun to drive. And then I had, way back when, just after, or in high school, I guess, I had an 86 Grand Cherokee that I traded somebody for a car that had a blown head gasket. It was a piece, the fenders were cut out, so when you go through dirt, it would be in the cab. It was a total nightmare, but fun. But this is my first, what I would call real Jeep, first Wrangler. Again, I never was a gotta have a Jeep guy, but I can understand the hype. It's fun, it's different, it's, it just, everything seems more fun when you're in it. Going to the store is more of an adventure. It's bumpy, and it sways a little, and it's on these big giant tires, and it's 5-speed, so it's fun. You get to shift around. It makes it more of an adventure. It's geared not quite right for these tires. It's geared a little too low. So even on the highway, the highway's a treat. It's a little hairy. It'll do 70 miles an hour, but that was the fastest I could get it on the highway. So people just go whizzing by you. But that's all right. You're not in a hurry with it because, it's your fun Jeep. You're just cruising. So, yeah, that's the new project. Bronco's out. Jeep is in. Let me know what y'all think. Got her in the garage, and we're working on the fender flares. Trying out a new product. So I'll show you this stuff. Turtle Wax Trim Restorer. Before. Looking good. She funny. Bam. Look at that. top back here, which you can kind of see. Night and day. Seems to be working. Stuff is thirsty. Alright, now that our trim's been restored and is looking nice, we got to spiff up these tires. So Ellie's going to give me a hand. Get this water off here. Alright, so you're going to take this. Oh, it's not even open yet.
It's not. Do we have to use your dirty sock?
It's a clean sock. But I save my old socks and I use them as shop rags so we don't have to pay for money for shop rags.
Yeah.
Because we already paid for the socks.
I don't want to touch
Alright,
your
take
socks.
some of that. You're not touching my sock. I'm holding the sock. You're going to squirt that on it. Nice and easy. Don't squirt too hard. Just a little more. A little more. A little more. Good. Right.
Smells like grapes.
It does smell like grapes. It smells good. We're going to need more.
A lot more?
You're going to squirt more than that. More than you did last time. A little more. That's good. Man, it is looking sharp. Did the little trim up here too. These wheels are nice and clean and shiny. Did the mirrors. My little helper's finishing up the back wheel. All right. Sweet. So we have a Jeep now. It's not perfect. If it was perfect, I probably wouldn't want it and probably couldn't afford it. But it's a pretty squared away, pretty solid little vehicle. I actually like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You are going to see us working on it on the next video. We're going to go through and do some repairs and some little modifications that it needs for us. It's got a battery temperature sensor on it. For some reason, Jeep thinks that's necessary. And when that sensor's bad, like this one is, I only get 12.6 volts out of the alternator to charge the battery instead of 14.6-ish, 14.3-ish when you're running charging. So that's a problem. It struggles to crank because the battery's always a little on the weaker side because it's not getting full strength. And, I mean, it's Jeep. So it's going to break down at some point. We might as well at least try to prevent the things like the battery sensor and stuff like that from making us break down more often. It doesn't need any more help. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It's a little tall, especially for Ellie trying to climb in. It's like a jungle gym for her. So we've got some side steps that just came in the other day. We're going to go ahead and bolt up some rock slider side steps to it. Going to do some other little tinkering and some, like I said, tasteful modifications to make it more something for us, give it some personality, because that's, I think, what Jeep people do is they take a vehicle that's kind of okay at doing things, put way too much money into them to make them a little bit better at doing those things. So that's what we're going to do, and you'll see it next time when we do more stuff.